President Ruto said foreigners are funding protests and that those who are funding protests and trying to create, discord and anarchy will face the full force of the law. That story is on page 4 of the Nation. Of course, you can have a read, but he's quoted as saying Kenya is a democratic governed by the rule of law, and run by democratic leaders. All we want is peace. We cannot run our country through anarchy or revolution.
Sorry.
We will ensure that whoever is sponsoring the protests is met with the full force of the law.
And of course, he spoke this in Keringet, Kuresoi South, and earlier on he was just making claims and has actually singled out specific groups. The president singled out Ford Foundation and asks that it comes clean on its role in the protest. It is believed that the protests that are believed to be really peaceful and organized by Mwananchi with the hashtags and the posters that are being shared could be backed by international organizations.
And I'll say this is just Mariam speaking. While the role of like non-governmentals in funding like agendas and, trying to change policies everywhere in the world is very clear, and they will fund that. We've been able to read between the lines, for a while now. So when President Ruto says that the Ford Foundation is funding the protests, one, young people have said, over and over again, we are leaderless, tribeless, also sponsorless. People are genuinely at the point where they feel they need to express their discontent with the government of the day. It's not a matter of funding. Then two, I did some, homework interrogating who does the Ford Foundation fund. And the list is very clear. When you start putting like, 1 and 2 together, the kind of people that the Ford Foundation is funding are the kind of people that have been at the forefront for fighting for human rights in Kenya or advancing like, stories of truth and justice as far as, anything about these protests is concerned. Some of the names there include the Kenya Human Rights Commission, include Africa Uncensored, include the National Coalition on Human Rights Defenders, Mzalendo Trust. I'm not sure if Mzalendo Trust is associated with Mzalendo Watch on Twitter, but I don't want to conflate them in case they're not the same thing. But those are all people who have been extremely vocal with putting out the stories of people who are fighting for a better Kenya. So it begs the question, why has President Ruto singled out, people being funded by the Ford Foundation?
And he said he's open to these kinds of protests by the young Kenyans, and this is a contradictory statement. But of course, if such has been done, and of course Ford Foundation has been would be implicated for this, then it seems that the safety that safe because these NGOs, we've seen some of them try to make sure that we have some good things going on ground. Like you'd see peaceful protests and zero violence on ground, and just safe zones where we would go to a corner somewhere and get some water, go to a corner somewhere, and also watu wamejitolea. It's not that it's just the NGOs. The president has also urged Kenyans to maintain peace and focus on the country's development. He also expressed the regret over the controversial finance bill 2024, which was withdrawn following the widespread protest by Gen Z, stating the bill's rejection has disrupted the development plans, including a 130 billion allocation for infrastructure projects. That is one of the reasons why.
By the way, what I've said is public knowledge. FordFoundation.org. You can check exactly who they fund and how much.